I've been practicing watercolor for the last year, and these are my absolute favorite art supplies that I would repurchase again in a heartbeat. And I endorse every single one of these. You should just get them. Take it from me. They're really, really good. My first must have in this list, that is not too extensive, is this Hahnemühle Square watercolor journal. I picked this up when I was in Lisbon, and I think it was maybe 14 euros. And honestly, I could kick myself for not buying another one because that's quite a bit cheaper than I would pay here for it. I live in Toronto for reference, and you can get these, but Hahnemühle tends to be an expensive brand here. I have also the portrait size, but I much prefer this one. First of all, the cover just has this kind of fake linen feel, and it is so nice. It never really gets too dirty or smudged, and I've tossed this in my bag on a number of trips so far. It's just accompanied me through all of my adventures over the past few months. The paper quality is very nice. It can deal with quite a bit of liquid, quite a bit of water. These are some pictures from when I was in Alberta. This is sort of a fun journal styled sketch that I kind of picked up, a little bit of urban sketching. I love looking through it. It's just so many nice travel memories for me from this winter to summer. I've had it in my bag for days on end. It never got scuffed up. It is so good. And it doesn't get too thick either because I feel like that's a bit of a consideration. It's not my only consideration for picking watercolor journals, but I just love that I can rely on the paper to not get too wavy and thick. I love this shape. I never really used to paint in a square. I thought I didn't like painting in a square. It kind of reminded me of Instagram and not in a good way, but I now convert, and I wish that the portrait size I picked up that is smaller than this was actually this one instead. So if you're thinking about this square Hahnemühle journal, just get it. It's really good. I think you're gonna like it a lot. My other MVP in my watercolor practice this year has been this Winsor& and Newton Cotman size 8 brush, and it's just the perfect blend of, like, the fine tip, the right size body. I've used it so much I've even worn out the number 8 on it. But if you're wondering if Cotmans are worth the small investment, I mean, they're not that expensive. They are. And I think that Cotman is now making their brushes in England. I could be wrong about that, but me and one of my audience members looked into this. And I think that she actually determined through writing to them that they're back making these in England now. So that feels nice to support an English company. I have other Cotmans. Probably the brush I like the least is I have a square one, and I'm not too fond of the flat square one and the flat filbert, but all my round brushes, well, just for the type of stuff that I like to paint, have been my favorite. So I would say 8 has been indispensable to me, and 6 and 4. Those are the 3 that I use the most out of the different ones that I have. And then I also have a rigger brush by Cotman, and that one's good too. So I think Cotman is very good if you're a beginner watercolorist and maybe you don't want to be spending $30 or whatever a brush. And look how well this is holding up. It's lost a couple hairs, but not many. I am really pleased with it. So let's talk, before we get into pens, a little bit about watercolors. I have other videos here on my channel, and if you are liking this, please do consider dropping me a like and subscribing. I have other videos that are about my Roman Schmal collection of watercolors and my Cotman watercolors. The first palette I ever got was like a Cotman set with like the split primary palette. Really good. I still use that almost every time I sit down to watercolor, but I've been kind of just like picking here and there all the Roman Schmal little single half pans that interest me along the way over the past year and a bit. And I put my favorite ones in this Altoids mint tin. My mom favors this type of mint, so when she has the empties, she gives them to me. But well, you'll see when I open this up that this random selection of stuff has been very well used. These are all my favorite Roman Schmals. My two favorites, like if I can only pick two from Roman Schmal, like my forever must-haves, are the magenta, which is here. I love the magenta by Roman Schmal, and the buff titanium, such a good color. So the magenta and the buff titanium, my favorites. My least favorite, though, I mean, I think all of his paints are generally excellent, but the one I've liked the least is the sap green. It's almost neon. I actually like Cotman sap green a lot better. So aside from the not liking the sap green, everything I bought I've liked from Roman Schmal. But I just think it's also fun to have it in this tin. I feel very watercoloristy. You really do feel like you're into the collector realm of watercolor paints when you have to move things into a little Altoids tin. Another MVP for me is oddly this half of a need. Okay, was a nice kneaded eraser in a normal package. I just have half of it here. The other half I broke off and used. So that's a tip. You don't have to open the whole kneaded eraser and use it right away. And for those of you who don't know what a kneaded eraser is, it's basically like a very soft kneadable eraser that doesn't leave the little bits of a regular eraser. Because when you use like a regular rubber eraser, it just leaves little shards everywhere and you have to brush them off. And that's not really a problem in life. There are many real problems in life. That's not one of them. But the kneaded eraser, you just kind of rub it on the page and it lifts off. Sometimes it just lifts off just a little bit of tone too, which is nice if you've penciled in too hard. But if you're watercoloring, it's just nice to roll it over your watercolor and it picks up some of that pencil. And then you can put your fine liner on or not, whatever the case may be. But a kneaded eraser, I didn't know what I was missing until I bought one, and I don't think I'll ever go back to regular erasers, and like I said, I break off half of one, use it, and then when that one is just too dark, I'll switch over to this little remnant half that I've got over here. All right, next in tools that I've been loving and kinda can't live without is, my Sailor fountain pen. I have 2. I have 2. If you're into urban sketching, you've seen both of no, you've seen this one most definitely. I know you've seen this one. And I think this is a 55-degree nib, and I've made videos comparing this one to, I believe this is 40. Sorry, it was a while since I made those videos and since I was deep into pens. This brown one, the 40, is my favorite. Far, far, far and away. I just find the lines to be perfect. This one I find a bit thick, especially for the size of book that I'm working often in, like these smaller sketchbooks. I find that the line on this is kind of thick and it kind of overwhelms what I'm trying to get done. Some people love them, but I personally find this one more versatile. Of course, you do you, but I just like the way that this looks. Okay, forgive me that this is kind of a low edit type video. I know that I don't have a lot of B-roll of me drawing and stuff like that, but I just wanted to sit down and sort of get these thoughts out before I completely forget. So I hope that you're enjoying this video nonetheless. Pigment microns. They're very popular. My favorite one, though, is very specific. It's the 08 size. I have a number of sizes. I love the size of this one. I find the ones that are smaller than 08 are just, the lines are very skinny. I don't like them. This is my perfect size for my Hahnemühle square notebook. And I'm going to look and see if I can find one that was done in that size. Okay, yes, most of the lines in this painting, this little urban sketch situation, were done with the 08. And to me, it's just visually very nice. My last and somehow my new favorite is this touch pen. Here it is. It's got the silvery body. It's a brush tip. It is not waterproof. So this is a pen for finishing work. It is not a pen to watercolor on top of unless you want to live life on the edge. But I, again, was working on these sort of journal entries of things that are lying about my house and trying to do a little bit of fancy writing. And I just think that this pen is beautiful and it really fits the bill. Brush lettering? I don't know. I'm not that good at it, but it is fun nonetheless to try. Here are some more examples of my writing, which is still a work in progress, but I'm just enjoying how this pen looks on the finished product. But again, I have to wait till it's dry. I can't paint on top of it after. So a finishing pen, it's very nice. Right, hope that was a fun little walk through my favorite things. Here they are. I could travel with just these things. I could go somewhere and I would have everything that I needed to make really nice artwork. I don't have a pencil here, but I just use a regular HB pencil. So, and I'm not picking up the kneaded eraser because my hands are full here, but you get the gist. All right, I hope you enjoyed that fun little walkthrough of some of my watercolor favorites. I hope you will subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.